Hey. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. boys
Hey
and
y'all.
boys and girls all over the world. Inside joke,
Uh,
inside joke, right?
Happy Juneteenth, y'all.
Don't mind.
What's going on?
Why are you so stupid? And I can't stand.
Oh man.
I cannot stand you. I promise I can't stand you. Oh man.
Hey
You know
guys.
what's crazy? It's like what's
Mm.
so funny about this moment just now? Like we don't even have to say anything.
We just know what it is.
We just know exactly what
Oh
we're laughing about.
man.
But nevertheless, it's oh man. Thank you
Yes,
for
yes, yes.
thank you for being here tonight. Why are you laughing,
Nothing,
man?
nothing.
What's so
Let's
funny?
nothing. Let's continue. Yeah. So um
How you doing? Oh
okay.
man, don't mind
That's
us, don't
good.
mind us, don't
It's
mind
fine.
us. Yeah. So tonight we are here. We are so happy to be here as always. This has been a labor of love, guys. Like honestly,
Yeah.
this has been like a labor of love. Candid moment as N and I started to talk about this back in December, try to come back and do our lives. And not every Wednesday we've necessarily felt like to do it because we're tired. We have lives, so much things happening. We have children, life be lifing. Wednesday is one of our busiest day,
Hmm.
and oftentimes we're like, ah, but you know, we must say that the feedback, the encouragement, the conversations, people reaching out to us, like random people their name don't pop up on the live. I guess sometimes you miss people's names that sign
Yeah.
on, but just those people really been encouraging us to continue to do it.
And
And
not only that, I
mhm,
feel like we kind of get healing through it as well.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
when we push ourselves to um excuse me,
facts.
to come on live and we get through these conversations, sometimes breakthroughs happen for us. And so not only is it a labor of love, but it's also a blessing to
Yeah,
our
it's
relationship.
therapeutic in
Very
a way.
therapeutic.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you guys actually pour into us with your feedback and your comments.
Yeah.
So we truly do appreciate that. So as you are here, as you are pulling in, just share the live. Tonight is a busy night. There's a lot of things happening. So we're
Mhm.
not going to be on here too long. We have a big day tomorrow. Baby girl, the
She's
youngest
moving
one
on
is moving
up.
up. So we have so much things to do,
Yes,
but we did not
yes.
want not to come in on tonight and just chat to our people. We need a name for you guys. We need a name for you guys, and we're going to be working on it. You know how you have the Swifties, you have the Beehive for Beyonce, you have the. Any gospel singers have anything?
I don't know.
You have the
Can
Hammonish,
we call them the love talkers?
the Love Talkers.
The love talkers. What do you guys think? The love
Whatever.
talkers.
But yeah, we are open to suggestions. So make sure you send us some suggestions about what we should call
Love
ourselves.
talk gang.
The Love Talk Gang, 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 gang,
Love
gang,
talk
gang.
crew.
Yeah. So tonight we're not gonna be on super long because we have so much to do to get ready for tomorrow for baby's girl's graduation, which is exciting. And my boy, our son has prom tomorrow.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
god.
that's crazy.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. So we won't be super long, but just wanted to come on nonetheless and talk to you guys about this topic because we're actually revisiting this topic. So earlier
Yeah.
today we were sitting down. We were wondering what should we talk about today, and we realized today is a very, very important day. Today is Juneteenth, freedom. I'm wearing my Pan American shirt, right? I don't remember off the top of my head what it represent, but represent something we have to do with black people.
But the colors are there.
The colors are there, and so we were talking about this whole idea of freedom, and while we talk about in our platform is relationship, and so we talk about this a little bit a while back, so we want to revisit it
Mhm.
about freedom in relationships and marriage. What does that look like, right? So it's oftentimes people are in relationships, but there's this desire to be free. I want to do me. So you are threading the line of being in a committed relationship, but still wanting to be free to do what you want to do.
I feel like a lot of people, that I've had conversations with, can you guys hear me well? A lot of people that I've had conversations with have kind of like go through, I would say, they kind of it's like a grieving process. Like they're grieving their singleness because when they were when they were single, they felt like they had more freedom.
Yeah.
However, when they got into a relationship, they feel like they lost that sense of freedom. And so they were grieving their singlehood. But I feel like when people get into a relationship and they all of a sudden feel bound, they're doing relationship the wrong way.
Okay.
You shouldn't feel bound once you enter into a relationship. And what would be the point of being in a relationship, right? Like if you get into a relationship to become shackled, right? You're obviously not doing it right. There's something that you guys are not really talking about, you guys are not really addressing, you guys are not really I guess tackling properly, which would cause you to feel like you're in shackles. So I think that's something that we need to talk about. Like, what are ways to continue that freedom, although you are now, I guess, bound to someone marriage wise, even in relationships, like, you know what I'm saying, like even when you're not married, you still do have to answer to your person, but how can you be bound but still free at the same time?
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna. You brought a great point about the relationship versus marriage, because I'm wondering if it makes a difference based on what the status is, the levels, right? If you're a relationship versus being married, having to answer somebody, what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Having to give an account of everything you want to do or that you're doing to somebody. Is a difference between when you are in a relationship versus when you are married. What else? Having to Now, for example, you may have people who are starting new families too, who are doing like blended families, right? So the way you raise your kid as a single mom or a single father, now you are married or you are involved with somebody else. The whole idea of now this person is a step parent to my child. How do I balance all of that, right? And so I think that's the reason why some people feel like I'm losing my freedom because I have to give an account to somebody. And
but
also,
if it's like, is it give an account? Like, I mean, you're not my mom, you're not my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's I think the way it's being, or even the wording, like if I'm looking at it as giving an account to my husband about what I'm doing, then it's like, okay, it kind of feels demeaning in a sense, right? But if I'm just sharing or making you au courant, like what's the English word? Making you aware of my,
your whereabouts,
my whereabouts
what
and what my happenings, then it's different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's like perception really matters.
Yeah.
Like how you see something, how you see a thing will define that thing. If you see yourself as being bound, then you will be bound. But if you see yourself as being connected, there's a difference between being bound and connected.
So
it's all in the wording and perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like someone who is super, super independent, somebody who's always been by themselves, decision maker, do you think it's an easy transition to now be in a relationship and you have to give quote unquote account?
Not at all. And I've encountered women like that who have been independent, who pay their own bills, who, you know what I'm saying, who have their own place, you know what I'm saying? So like it's hard for them to get into relationships because they're like, I don't want to have to answer to anyone. But I feel like there is freedom even in getting into a relationship.
Yeah, you were mentioning that earlier.
Yeah, like,
So let's save that for a minute,
okay.
because I think that's a very, very, very dope perspective. Because as we were preparing, like literally a few minutes before that, we're transparent with you guys. As we were getting ready for this, right before, a few minutes before now, my boy had like this really, really interesting take about how being in a relationship could be freeing from certain things. So I think that's a pretty dope perspective, and we'll just tackle that in just a minute. But do you think also, Boo, that I think I think a lot of it has to do with perspective and also definition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how people define what it means to be free in the relationship context
Yeah.
is going to be very important in how they approach a relationship. You know, we just did a video that we're about to release on Friday, and it's not our quick hits part 2. So be on the look on that release. And one of the things that we talked about to have a thriving marriage is prioritizing the unit,
Yeah.
right? And so the unit and specifically not just the family, but the unit in this case is your husband, the husband and the wife. How do you prioritize your unit for a healthy and thriving marriage? Does that mean that you're giving up who you are? Right? Does that mean you're giving up your interest, your pursuit for the unit? And I think a lot of time that's where people have a very difficult time to do. If you cannot do that, and I think the key word is, as we start giving some strategies, the key word is going to be balance.
Yeah.
It's balance. You know what I'm saying? And alluded to it earlier today, a little bit earlier, is also about communication, conversation, letting the people know people know how you feel.
Like, if your person makes you give it up,
makes you.
like, if your person expects you to give it up, like, is that really your person? Like, is this someone that, and that's why communication even before marriage is so key. Like, the information that you gather about this person, if that person requires you to give up your dreams, to give up your goals, to give up your desires and stuff like that,
or have
then
those expectations of you,
right, then it's like, that's when you can say, yeah, you about to give it some freedom. But if the person supports it, if the person, is behind you 100%, and they're willing to help you get to that next level, that's where freedom really exists. You know what I'm saying? The freedom from, I guess, stress, freedom from, the burden of doing it alone. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good way. It's a way you look at it. Like you said, it's perception and definition and how people perceive a thing.
Yeah, it's definitely multifaceted, right? And the perspective is going to be very important. Let's say, for example, if the person trying to define freedom in the context of personal autonomy, right? So we're talking about somebody. Am I able to make my own choices about my life without restrictions?
It's not okay. That's not relationship, right?
So I cannot make my own choices about my life and not be restricted, or does it matter in the context?
When you say make your own choices, like make your own decisions, like, you can have an idea of what you want for your personal life, right? But when you come into a relationship, it's no longer I, it's we, right? So now we have to discuss how you can help me get there, right? So it's not really me making my own choices.
Do you feel like we've been married for, it's about to be 18 years. Wow. It's about to be 18 years in August. We've been together for 24 years. Have you felt that when it comes to your personal choices, you've had autonomy to make your own choices?
Okay. Because of who you are.
Ooh, what does that mean?
Because of who you are, you've given me that liberty to.
I am, I give you glory.
Like, you've given me liberty to do that, because, like, you're not restrictive in that sense. So I don't do it. I don't make those decisions without you knowing. right?
Mm-hmm.
I do bring it to the table. I say, this is what I want to do. And because you're so supportive, because we have freedom in this relationship,
Yeah.
right? You give me your input, you give me your, what you think about it, and then I go and I do it.
I'm trying to think.
But I think there have been times where
The truth about
it
to come out.
wasn't, it was it you like you were against some certain things that I wanted to do with reason. In time we realized, yeah, your way was probably the best way.
I tend to happen.
But
I
I was
tend to be
very
wrong.
vocal about what I wanted. But I think the freedom lies in us having
Conversation.
conversations and having two minds, right? They say two minds are better than one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's freedom from making certain mistakes that you would have probably made if you
Yeah.
made that decision alone,
Yeah. And I think also compromise. That's where it come in to play. You also have to be in the video we're gonna drop on Friday. I'm giving way too much away, right?
No, it's fine. They're gonna look forward to
Yeah,
seeing it, I hope.
the video we're dropping on Friday, it talks about being your person's biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
And part of being the person being their biggest cheerleader is also to support the things that they're trying to accomplish in their life, their own personal growth, right? Their own without restriction. So I will not stifle the freedom for wanting to pursue a personal um a goal, a personal goal, or trying to accomplish something. I will not be stifling it. So when we think about there'll be restrictions in making somebody's own life choices, we have to ask the question: is this a healthy relationship?
Mhm.
Right? If we don't feel free to pursue some of those things, but now there could be situations where it might be bigger picture, right? For example, hey, husband or wife, I want to, I want to pursue being a recording artist. I want to be this. I want to do that. But then you're in a situation where you're not able to do it because of financial restrictions for whatever reason. Then that's worth a conversation. That's worth
Yeah.
of strategizing. That's worth looking at different ways to fill in the gap of what will be missing versus saying no, 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 you cannot do it,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't think I don't think that's a person um, taking away your personal autonomy to pursue what you want to pursue. It's just having a logical conversation, assessing your situation
Yeah.
to see what makes sense in the
Yeah,
moment.
because it's not necessarily saying no. It's saying, okay, how can we get there?
Yeah, how we're gonna
How we're
compensate.
gonna compensate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what you said earlier, like when you feel like you're bound in a relationship, is it healthy?
Mm.
They're like being bound, there's such a negative connotation to it, and that is what it is. Like if you feel bound
Mm-hmm.
in your relationship, you feel weighed down, if you feel tied down, if you feel like you can't, you're suffocating,
Yeah.
there is something that needs to be addressed. There is absolutely no freedom
Yeah.
in that. And so there you got to talk about it. And you have to be able to recognize it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you just kind of go in silence and just keep and kind of leave it that way, it's like how do you expect to be free?
And dare I say also, sometimes in that particular situation, it might not have anything to do with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a you thing, because there's some people who are dealing with like certain insecurities,
Mm-hmm.
certain traumas. I mean, we talk about trauma a lot, I feel, on our podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but you cannot. That's what it is. It's a reality. So that stifling that you may feel, it might be a trigger from something else that happened in your past that have nothing to do with your current situation.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about assessing it and addressing it and looking at it and studying it, you have to do it from all different angle. Like how me saying no, you cannot do this, it will not work for our current situation, being translated as you not being free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bigger thing that probably need to be studied on your behalf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. I like that. I guess based on what you've experienced in the past with
Mm-hmm.
other people, the way your new person responds to a request or
Yeah.
something you bring to the table, you can associate
Trying
the
to
old
control me.
response, right?
Yeah.
Or the old person to this response here. But I also feel like it's also knowing your person,
Yeah.
like knowing the heart of your person. If you know the heart of your person is for you, if you know the heart of your person is for the good of your relationship and to advance anything that, anything you bring to the table, like your ideas and your goals and stuff, then what they say, you'll pay attention to the heart behind it,
Yeah.
not just the words, because
Yeah.
sometimes
Intentions.
that's intentions,
Yeah.
because sometimes the words may come out a little different. We're human, we're flawed, like sometimes we may not say things the right way. Like myself, whenever I'm speaking, or especially in like a heated conversation, I'm very calculated with my words, so I will pause just to make sure that my words are coming out right, but I don't always get it right. But because
You're right.
shut up. But because you know the heart behind my words, because you know the intentions behind, what I say, it's not to tear down,
Yeah.
it's not to create any more division.
Yeah.
It's more so to, for lack of better words, it's just the way that I say it. And like, that, okay, let me try to understand, or let me try to, get more clarity from you.
Yeah.
If I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah. But I will say though, even that's opening up a little small parentheses, but even in those particular situations, when you are talking or expressing something, I think it's very important that you don't rely only on your person knowing your intention, because they could still be impacted by what you're saying.
Right.
They could still be offended, because I've encountered that too. Oh, you should know my intention is not to hurt you, but you did hurt me by saying what you're saying. So it's very, very important that we are being mindful
You
about
trying
that.
to throw shade right now?
I ain't trying to throw nothing. Void lo sumoye se problem pao.
You know what that mean? He said, I just threw water. If it wet you, that's your problem.
Pause. Wet you.
But you threw it on me.
I'm wet you. Anyway, in defining freedom, we can also look at it. We just spoke about personal autonomy, but we can also talk about it from a freedom of expression perspective, right? When you are in a strong relationship, both partners should be able to express their thoughts, feelings, and desires openly, honestly, without fear of retaliation, right? Does that exist in your current relationship? Will that exist in your future relationship? Is that a goal for you, where you're able to express yourself to your partner without any kind of judgment, without feeling like they're going to be retaliating before you against you? You don't have to walk around on eggshell around that person, and you feel free to express yourself.
Right.
Right.
It's a First Amendment existent in your relationship. Like, are you free to speak? Are you free to express? Are you free to share? Or is everything you say, is it
Another trigger or something?
A trigger, or is it shunned, or is it overpassed? Like, right? Like,
yeah, is it overlooked?
That's what I want to say. Overlooked. You know what I'm
Overpassed, though?
saying? Stop. That's why I try to speak very carefully to try to get my words out right, because sometimes I just don't get it right. Right? Is it overlooked, or is it, or are you made to feel, or like, is the person condescending?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And making you feel like you're an insubordinate. You like, it's just, you have to
I don't think
be
you're saying subordinate.
then what do I want? I can't get my word. Lesser than.
Okay.
Insubordinate, right?
And you were the one that was born in America.
But that's a word, right?
Insubordinate is when it's like it's a worker, it's a superior, and
an inferior.
An inferior.
So
situation.
I'm an insubordinate to you, or right? Is that the way to say it?
That's like when I'm your boss and then you're not following my instructions and you want to do your own thing. That's being insubordinate.
Really?
Yeah.
Then that's not the word I was looking for.
And you were born here in America.
You had to study vocabulary in order to learn the language.
Well, obviously, y'all didn't. You're Americans. I can't get no words right.
But whatever. That's what I was trying to say. Like, are you making me feel like I'm dumb? I'm lesser than. You know what I'm saying? Or are you valuing my
Yeah.
words? Are you valuing my expressions and what my thoughts,
Yeah. And
right?
I think we do a pretty good job. I mean, we make it a rule in our relationship where feelings matter, right?
Yeah.
And we also may work. Oh no, 24 years. It's 24 years. It didn't happen overnight. But we're also making it. We create the space where feelings are validated, safe spaces to talk about whatever we need to talk about. And these are some of the things that we've worked on very, very hard with our experience to establish, right? And honestly, it did not happen overnight. It took a lot of work, and I think this is a good place to to plug this, right? uh this thing that we have, our formula did not happen overnight. It takes over
Mm.
24 years of work to be where we are right now. And so it's just I just had this ready about the webinar that we're about to have. Shout out to everybody who registered so far for the webinar. You guys are awesome,
Period.
man. We are so excited. We cannot wait to see you guys at the webinar in about 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from now, we actually are not going to be live. We are going to be on the webinar. We're going to be in the Zoom. We get a chance to interact with you guys directly. We get to ask questions. We get to discuss certain things, expectations in relationship. And guess what? The best part about the webinar is it's free. Gratis t-shirt.
Free 99.
Free 99. Now, I know you guys love free. So be sure, if you haven't done so yet, to register at bit.ly, bit.ly /LTW EBINAR. So LT webinar 1. It's case sensitive, so make sure the LT and W are capital letters. So you get a chance to hear from us directly about how our experience. How is it that we are where we are today when it
Y'all,
comes
you
to some
don't
of
want to
those
miss
things? You
this
don't want to miss
webinar.
it.
Like,
Like,
we're super excited about it. And those of you who have registered so far, get a friend
shout
to
out to you
register
guys.
as
Shout out
well.
to you for
Get
real.
a friend of a friend of a friend to register, because it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be lit.
We
I don't
have
know, like
so much to give.
we're
We have
super
so much
excited.
prepared for this webinar. It's not going
Yeah,
to be, and no, it will not be streamed.
yeah.
It will not be live. It will be in an intimate space on Zoom.
And that's why you need to
You need to
register in order
register.
to be
Yeah,
there
and
in the
you will get the
building.
Zoom link once you do register, right? So very important. Again, the link to register is www. I have to make sure I say all three
Please, all
W's
three.
because she'd be harassing me about that. www
Thank you.
dot bit.ly bit.ly capital L capital T capital WEBINAR 1, or just take a screenshot of this and go through the QR code later on to register. Okay.
Yeah, but all that to say, I think when the amount of work that we've put into what where we are
Mm-hmm.
has created this sense of freedom in our relationship, right? Freedom to express ourselves, um, freedom from the alleviation of burdens
Mm.
that come with being alone. And did you know that you can be alone in a relationship?
Talk
That
about
part.
that.
You can be alone in a relationship where you're not receiving that support. You're not receiving that you're not being catered to. You're pretty much a single married person, or a single husband, single
Mm.
wife, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not necessarily receiving that support that you need to grow as an individual, like to
Mm.
grow together. And that's what you want to combat. You want to identify it and then combat it, so that that's not your life. Like, that's not a life to live. That's not a relationship to continue to
Yeah.
invest in.
Yeah.
Not telling you to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying break up, but like, do the work necessary to get to where you should be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Did that make sense?
It did. It did make
Okay.
sense. And again, I feel like when it comes to freedom in a relationship, the key word is going to have to be balanced. The keyword is balancing, making sure everything is balanced, right? Because and also another thing that we live by, we get giving a lot of our gems and things that we live by is identifying your normal, finding your normal,
Yeah.
right? Because to some people, the fact that Ann would tell me, "Hey, babe, I'm gonna go out with my coworkers this afternoon after work. Are you cool with that?" They might perceive that as in not being free,
Mm-hmm.
of her not having freedom. Why you need to,
Why you gotta ask your husband?
like, what? And these are the same people who are probably either single or having difficulty in their relationship because they don't apply some of those principles,
Yeah.
right? So it's very, very, very important that things are balanced. Like, we tell each other everywhere we're gonna go, and it's not even a matter of control. For some people, they probably perceive it as being controlling. No, it's a matter of safety.
Yeah, and it's a mutual respect. Like, bro, I live with you.
Yo,
Like, I live with this man. I have children with this man. He needs to know my whereabouts. Like, he needs to know where I'm gonna be, so he can, like, if for example something happens, he knows where I last was to report to the police. Like,
pretty much.
I don't know. Like, and also it's just I want you to know where I
Yeah,
am.
look,
Ain't no sneaky linky.
this is a family.
It's blurry.
Yeah, probably. This is a family. We have a family.
It's called Life
Live
360.
360. We have a family GPS where we are, um, where we are, where we are. We know where each other are. Actually, the way this whole thing started was when our kids were, they were still in elementary school, and their school's like 45 minutes away each way. So we wanted to make sure we know where they are, that they are okay. And it's a family thing that we do. That's not controlling. It's just making sure that we are okay. We know where each other are. If something happened, I know where my wife is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And as like I said, it's mutual respect, it's
Yeah.
mutual compromise. Like, I don't just if one party is the only one doing it,
Yeah, that's a problem.
that's when it's a problem,
Yeah.
right? Right. But if it's mutual, if it's like compromise, then we're good. That's where that's where the freedom
Yeah,
really
yeah,
comes. Like,
yeah. And I think one thing that's very important when we're talking about freedom in a relationship, we have to make sure that we are balancing freedom and commitment, right? And what that basically mean, you are going from a place of being independent to being interdependent,
yeah.
right? You go from a place of being independent to being interdependent. And what that basically means is you are relying on each other for support while you still maintaining a level of your individuality,
Mm.
right? That balance is very crucial, that nobody feels restricted. Like the other day, Ann said, like the other day when Ann was going back to school, that's her own personal growth thing that she's going to pursue, right? But the interdependence piece is I'm supporting her the best way that I can so she can reach her goal, right?
Yeah.
So we have to find a balance of independence and also interdependence. And when we have that, when we're able to do that, that is a healthy thing. That is a great thing to be able to have in a
Yeah.
relationship,
I
right?
agree.
Yeah, and also we need to have healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries. Like at any point that my wife feel like she feels stifled, she needs to be able to say, "Hey, babe, I feel stifled. I feel like the other day when I asked you I wanted to do this and you tell me that I couldn't do it, I felt like you were controlling me." And then that become a conversation between the two of us. Okay, this is why I said what I said. Let's study this. What would that look like or sound like so you didn't feel like you are being controlled? You have a mind, you're able to make up your own mind about certain things. So it's having healthy boundaries even in your relationship. That's very essential to be able to be successful in that space.
Yeah. And I think even, there are some people or relationships that where one party is just very clingy, like very, um, not here though.
Not here.
Not here.
Okay.
Where one where one person is like more clingy than the other. And you know, that should be able to be expressed without offense.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's also establishing healthy boundaries. Like there should be a space where, I can share, babe, I just need a little bit of space.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go for a walk because I just need a little bit of space, and that not be taken as offensive, but just supportive all
I honestly think you
around.
probably should. I honestly think you probably should request more of that. As crazy as it sounds for me to say it.
Me personally, or
Yeah,
just
you personally, because you do a lot, and is always with a member of this family. And we all know which member of this family we are talking about. There's one member of this family that don't give in any kind of breathing space whatsoever. Her name rhymes with Haley. Her name rhymes with Haley, right? This girl is with Aunt from the moment she wakes up to go to school, because they go to the same school. They come home together. They're in the car together. After school is over, if Anne has to do any work in her class, she's in that room with Anne. Don't you love her though, right?
I love the heck out of her.
You love the quality time, right? Yeah, and by the time Anne gets home, she's the first one I get home, so she's always with Haley. She's with Haley. Hey Miranda, what's up, girl? You're late. I'm mad. No, she's with Haley. So if anybody need that request for free time, it would be Ann. I remember whenever she get a chance to drop Bailey off at my mom's, she tried not to go pick her up. I have to go pick her up because that's some time, and I should be okay if my wife is asking that kind of time for herself, or your partner is asking for that kind of time, because they do so much. It's okay. It's healthy. All right.
So you give me permission?
I give you permission to leave Bailey at my mom's house.
Come on, freedom. Somebody say freedom.
Leave Bailey at my mom's house. Hey, oh, look, check this out. That's an example of it too. Do you really need my permission to be like, I'm leaving Bailey somewhere? Somewhere. I'm leaving Bailey somewhere because I need some me time, right? Yeah. So you don't need permission for that, right? So open communication, we spoke about that. Make sure you're addressing any feelings about feeling constrained, about feelings, about not having that stifled, right?
Yeah.
And so that's very important. So I'm gonna give you like two more tips, and then I want to go into what you're talking about, the perspective you're bringing about freedom relationship, right? Some challenges to freedom relationship: control and possessiveness. If you are with somebody who's controlling or possessive, that will definitely limit your freedom.
Yeah.
Then somebody say, how do you define being possessive or controlling? It's evident. I don't think you need to. There's some people, what that means. So somebody who's possessive and controlling, the criteria.
They're watching who you're texting. Mm-hmm. They're watching what you're wearing. They're questioning everything. They demean you. They like you're like a child.
Yeah.
Like much. You are their belonging. Like you belong to them. Like you're not your own person. They say what you do. They say what you wear. They say where you go.
Yeah.
They say who you can talk to. They control who your friends are. All of it. All the things.
And one thing you have to be mindful of, it doesn't get better once you marry that person. So if it's just in a relationship now, you have a controlling partner or possessive partner.
Listen.
When you get married, don't expect to get better, because I think that's an unrealistic expectation, right? And so don't get trapped for that thinking it's going to get better, because then you have to ask yourself the question, can I really be with someone like this for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And our perspective of marriage, we do believe is meant to last, is forever. Of course, there are certain things that could happen that would be ground for you to not stay. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, it's very important, it's imperative that you are minding whether or not, if you're with someone who is controlling, possessive, because that will definitely be a challenge to freedom in your relationship. All right. Another challenge to freedom in relationship is expectation and sacrifice. Are you making? Ooh, scratch that for me. Mm-hmm. That is so Haitian and so imperfect. Down. Yeah, right there. Just seeing behind the scene, guys. This is how it is in our house. We scratch each other's backs. Message.
Freedom.
Right. So, is there sacrifices being made? When there's unbalanced sacrifice or expectation on one side of the relationship, this is when those feelings of stifling also come to be. Mm-hmm. All right. Another one, societal and cultural norms. Um, they could be restrictive based on if you are with someone who's super patriarchal,
Mm.
who's super chauvinistic,
Yeah.
who's from the old school, right? Or in the new school, if you are with a super feminist,
Mm.
right? For the men. So I don't want it to always sound like a woman thing, but when it comes to some societal and cultural norms, it does impact how free you are in your relationship,
Yeah.
right? So that's another thing. I want to pause right here because I want to give Boo some time to talk about the perspective that she's coming from about freedom in relationship. She had a really, really great. Hopefully, I'm not setting you up and then like, dang, I can't get my thoughts together. That could happen, right? She had a pretty dope perspective about it. So I want to let her shine. Go.
So when I was thinking about freedom in relationships, I was really thinking from the vein of having freedom because I'm in a relationship, having freedom because I have someone to share the load with. Carrying the load on my own, I don't see it as being free. Not knocking any single parents or single people out there, but two is always better than one.
Yeah.
You know, when you have that assistance in carrying a load, it's lighter, right? So the freedom comes in
Freedom
relationship,
like stress,
free alleviation of stress,
okay.
alleviation of the burden, alleviation of having to make the decision alone. Like I feel like there's a freedom that comes with being in relationships. So it's almost like, it's not like is there freedom in relationships? I'm talking about the freedom in relationships.
Just like you've never paid a bill the entire time we've been married. Have you paid a bill, Ann? No, seriously. Have you ever gone online?
Yes,
and paid one of our bills?
all the tickets that you keep getting. Yes, I've paid every single one of them.
That's different. That's different.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, not
There's
not
certain things that you
about
don't have to worry about,
right
when you have a partner.
Yeah,
So I like that.
there's a sense of this soft life that we've been that we talked about, Miranda, right? The soft life, like, and it could be, it don't necessarily have to be like me just like not doing anything, but I do know that I can depend on someone.
Okay.
And that creates a sense of freedom, a freedom from like worry, a freedom from all the things that single people kind of go through. So like there are benefits in relationships, you know what I mean?
In
Like
the context of freedom.
in the context of freedom, not to knock singlehood, because singlehood is a great hood to be in for certain reasons, right? But when it comes to having two people that can share the load, it just becomes so much easier.
I like that perspective. Freedom from debt, because paying one income versus two incomes.
Right.
Freedom from having to make some tough decisions. Because sometimes I have to be the one that be the bad guy. I'm the bad cop a lot of the time in our relationship, right? So I actually do love that. That's a really great perspective to have. So, but then how do you still balance that with the first thing that we were talking about, where some people feel like, okay, I would love to have that freedom that Ann is talking about from having a partner, but yet I don't know if I am ready to have to respond or give account to somebody else, another person.
That's fine. I feel like don't ever force yourself to be in a space that you're not ready for. If you have work to do the work. Do the work to if you want to be in that space. Like, if you don't, like, it is not for everybody. Like, if you don't desire it, it is what it is. But if you desire it and you feel like you're not ready for it, don't force yourself don't force a square into a hole, into a square peg into a circle, right?
Something like that, yeah.
However they say it, right?
By American.
Right. Don't force yourself into a space that you're not ready for. Do the work that's necessary to enter that space fully prepared for all that it entails.
Yeah, yeah,
To be the best that you can be in there. Like, just do the work.
yeah,
I think we should always be working on ourselves. We should always be working on establishing a sense of freedom, whether you are single or in a relationship. It, however it looks to you, like it's a case by case scenario,
yeah,
right? But we all should be looking for freedom.
yeah. And again, if we want to recap as we wind it down, I think it's very important for us to understand that freedom in a relationship is a balance. It's a balance game
Mhm.
between individuality and also togetherness,
Yeah.
right? It involves respecting. You have to respect each other's autonomy, while at the same time maintaining a strong bond. So it's playing that balanced game, and not everybody necessarily knows how to do that. Uh, if you want to learn how to do that,
What can you do,
what
babe? What
can
can
you
they
do?
do?
What can they do, babe?
They can register for
They could
our
come to our
webinar.
webinar, right? Where we're gonna talk
Y'all
even
need to
more.
stop playing, all right? Y'all
Listen,
need to stop playing.
listen,
Y'all come and
listen,
y'all join
listen,
us every week. Just sign up for the webinar. We got some goodies to
listen.
share.
It's gonna be a dope time. We have some really good stuff for you guys
Freedom.
for the webinar, right? And the thing about the webinar is some of the things that we're talking about, we will dabble in them a little bit more. So you definitely want to make sure you're signing up, and it's free. It's free. Shout out to Miranda. Miranda's married, X amount of years married so far, and she signed up. We saw your registration, girl. Shout out to you. And everybody else who's already registered for it. We're gonna have a space where we can unpack this, and we're gonna go even a little bit more deeper about when it comes to the expectation in the relationship. What does that look like? What are some of the key aspects we can develop, and some strategies we can put into place to balance individuality and togetherness? How to balance being free and being in a committed relationship. So definitely sign up for the webinar. The link is on the page. Yes, girl. We know. Shout out to you and Junior. We're looking forward to seeing you guys. And the cool thing about the webinar is this webinar, you don't have to come with your significant other. You can join on your own. You don't have it doesn't have to be a partner thing. So if your partner cannot make it, you can join on your own. You could join us on your own. If you're single, you could join on your own. If you are married, you could join with your husband or just join on your own. We are gonna basically dive deeper.
Don't look at me when you say that word.
Why?
Look straight ahead.
Does it do something
Talk
to
to the
you?
people.
Gonna dive
Talk to the people.
Gonna dive
Talk to the
deep.
people.
Gonna
Thank you.
dive deeper on this topic. So make sure you are registered for the seminar. I'll share my
Webinar.
webinar. I say seminar. That's why I say share and webinar in the same
Seminar.
sentence. The seminar.
She says she'll share on her social media a few more times as well.
Thank you,
Thank you so
girl. We
much.
appreciate you. Everybody else, if you're here, please make sure you join us again. This will not be live. This will not be live. It's gonna be on a Zoom, and you get a chance to interact with us and talk to us directly. And we are super excited about it. And we cannot wait to see you guys in the Zoom on the 3rd, right?
Yep.
So we will give you guys a little bit more information about some strategies to address the individuality and togetherness, how to balance all that. So pull up on us on the Zoom so we can have a little bit more about that. That's our time for tonight, you guys. We said we were not going to stay long, short and sweet. Just want to give you some tips and strategies and talk about this topic in honor of, not honor, I guess, as we commemorate freedom. I hope you guys know what Juneteenth is about. Don't let it be just another day off. Educate yourself about what it's all about. I don't want to give it to you. You look it up yourself. And then until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for joining us tonight. There's something great happening right now on online, which is why we didn't really push tonight, because we did not want to interrupt it. Right now, I think it's still happening, or did it end?
It's ended.
It ended. But go back and watch the replay. They had this big prayer vigil for Haiti. We are Haitians, if you did not know. And so we decided to be a little bit more chill tonight. So people can participate and support that, because it's a lot of stuff happening in our home country. And so go back and watch it. It's on CCC. They gave up their platform to do this big prayer vigil and addressing the gang violence that's happening in Haiti. So that's the reason why we didn't really go super hard in pushing tonight, because we wanted people to support that
But thank you guys
endeavor.
for joining,
Well,
even
for
without
those,
the push.
because
We appreciate
we
your
really
presence
do,
tonight.
So thank you for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to register for the webinar. We will see you on the next one.
Deuces.
Deuces.